Welcome into another episode of the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast here on Sports Illustrated from the Fans First Sports Network. My name is Tom Cavanaugh, your UCLA Bruins Insider. Follow me at TCAV30 on Twitter/X, and also follow our insider pages at UCLA Insider on SI, both on Twitter/X and on Facebook. Today we're going to talk all football. And there's a lot of updates to talk about, some coaching hires that came out the last couple of days, as well as a lot of transfers that have chosen the Bruins program for next season. We'll get right into it because we have a lot to talk about, starting with tight ends coach Jerry Neuheisel. Neuheisel was the tight ends coach the past year for this team, spent the past 3 years as the wide receivers coach, and has now been promoted as the assistant head coach to now in his second year, Deshaun Foster, head coach of the program. And Neuheisel, he's been in and out of this program for the past 10 years. 10 of the last 12 years, actually, he's been within the program as a player and as a coach. He spent time as a backup quarterback for the Bruins back in his playing days. He was with the Bruins as a player from 2013 until 2015. Didn't play a whole lot, but being brought back into the program, he's been a big piece this year. Worked with Maliki Matavao, who is now receiving some NFL recognition. And he's going to continue to kind of bolster that group. He's going to stay on as the tight ends coach, but also take on that role as the assistant HC. It's huge for Jerry. He's 32 years old right now, definitely still young in his career. And it's pretty cool, too. He actually played for a team out in the Japanese league, took their team to a bowl game out there in Japan playing for them. So he has an international experience, did not quite make it to the NFL level, but a heck of a coach and a big part of this team. And they're very, very to have him and then also promote him to that new position. Another coaching hire to the offensive line. It's going to be Andy Kwan coming over from Arkansas State. Spent the past 4 years with that program. He was actually a tight ends coach as well in his first season, or his first 2 years, and has spent the last couple as the offensive line coach, and that's where he played in college. He was a 4-year player at Georgia Southern, was a 2-year captain, received all Sun Belt selection as well, so he's a heck of a ball player. Didn't have any NFL experience, did a tryout with the Cleveland Browns, but nothing really came of it. Quan really just went into his coaching career, started out with Alabama. He was an offensive line graduate assistant there for a couple of years. That's where he got his master's degree, and then went over to the Red Wolves of Arkansas State, led them to a pretty solid 7-5 record. Their team was 9th in the conference in rushing the football, just over 150 yards per game. And Quan going to help out that offensive line, taking over for Juan Castillo. And when we talk about, there's a big transfer that's coming over that's going to help out Andy a ton. Another guy, this time coming from the Colorado Buffaloes. It's going to be Coach Gabe Lynn. He's going to be the new safeties coach, taking over for Brian Norwood. Lynn spent the past 2 seasons with the Buffaloes as a defensive analyst and an assistant player personnel director. He was a 3-year starter for the Oklahoma Sooners back from 2010 to 2013. He did not play in the NFL. I looked up some stuff. He had a profile with the Detroit Lions. Must have been practice squad for a little while. Did not record any stats with the team. But playing in the SEC, coming over to coach in the Big Ten, he knows big-time football at the Division I level, and he's going to help out that secondary group that definitely needs some help this year. They're going to get it when it comes to transfers, we'll talk about later. But in the Big Ten, UCLA last year was next to last in pass defense, allowing over nearly 250 yards through the air a game, or just under that, I think. So being able to bring in Lynn, just kind of give this team a new fresh face at multiple positions to be mentoring those players. Now to talk a little bit about the transfer portal. Bruins, they lucked out, and it's pretty sweet as well when you look at it. The Rivals transfer portal rankings have the Bruins 7th in the country now after landing a ton. And the ones we're going to talk about now have just come in the last 3 days, since Tuesday. Starting off with Louisville Cardinals freshman defensive back Aaron Williams. He's the second Cardinal to transfer over to the Bruins this year. Ben Perry, who we talked about previously last week, he's a grad senior safety. He's coming to the program. Williams is coming with him. Not a ton of time on the field for Williams. He's been plagued with injuries, spent 2 years at Louisville. Only 1 year of eligibility was used, played in just one game this past year against BC. He's looking to stay healthy this year and be able to make an impact for the Bruins. Another guy is junior defensive back Nico Davillier. joining the Bruins, transferring over from the Arkansas Razorbacks. He spent the past 2 years there. Played in 8 games this past season, totaling 25 tackles and 1 sack. He's going to be a major piece to the pass rush for this team. And he's not the only one coming over, because there's another guy, Kaeo Akana, from the Utah Utes. He's the other side of the pass rush. Not sure what it's going to pan out to be at the beginning of next year. Obviously, there's training camp, fall practices, and everything to be able to see who's going to be the starters are. But you get 2 guys from big-time programs. You get DeVilliers from Arkansas and then Akana over from Utah. Spent the past 3 seasons with the Utes, did Akana. Only played in 3 games this past year, but he will face his old team in Week 1, the Bruins. They will start their 2025 season against Utah at the Rose Bowl. Staying with defenders, this time in the secondary, going to help out Gabe Lynn, as we talked about. Former Ole Miss Rebels senior safety Key Lawrence. It'll be the 4th school that Lawrence will play for through his career. He started at Tennessee, then went to Oklahoma, so him and Lynn can talk a little bit about that. And then he transferred to Ole Miss this past year and now going to UCLA. He's been all over the map, spent a lot of time in the SEC, also Big 12, and now joining the Big 10. Lawrence is going to be a key safety. Now it's going to be him, Ben Perry, and a couple other guys. We'll see where they put Aaron Williams as well. He's just listed as a defensive back, but could play some corner, maybe some safety. It's going to be kind of a gritty fall for these guys, because you have so many different transfers coming in, and there's going to be some spots for guys to really have to compete for. So in the last couple of days, we just said a lot of defenders transferring in, because that's where the Bruins need help. Not so much in the run game. They were a top 5 run defense in the country last year, but passing, they did not get it done. Opposing quarterbacks thrived against the Bruins defense when throwing the ball. And it makes sense that they would go after a lot of defenders. But we're going to look at one offensive lineman that's going to help out Andy Kwan, the new offensive line coach for the Bruins. It's Cortland Ford. He's coming over from another SEC school, from the Kentucky Wildcats. Ford previously played his first 2 collegiate seasons actually with USC, and then transferred over to Kentucky this past year. And now he's going to be a part of the Bruins. So I cannot wait. If Ford's on that front 4 line and he's taking on USC at the end of the year, there's going to be some chippiness there, considering he played his first 2, this most previous with Kentucky. But some bad blood maybe. And Ford, he's a big dude. He's going to be able to likely get in there, start, make a difference immediately as a senior. Really impressive what the Bruins are starting to do, especially when we talk about that transfer portal ranking. 7th in the nation is nothing to sneeze at. These guys are finding that head coach Deshaun Foster in this program is somewhere they want to play at. And that's an awesome sign for this squad, because there's a lot of other schools within the Big Ten that don't have this same type of publicity or want from players. So being able to get a laundry list of guys just in the last couple of days after the portal opened, it really means a lot to Foster in this program. And being able to hire those coaches on with professional and high Division I experience only makes more players want to come play in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. That's going to do it for us here on the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast. You can follow me, Tom Cavanaugh, at TCAV30 on Twitter/X. Follow our insider pages at UCLA Insider on SI. Thanks so much, everybody. We will see you again tomorrow.